What's up guys, Steven here with SCS Pickleball, and today we're talking about the new Unmarked paddle from Mark Pickleball. This paddle has insanity grit on the face, a really solid all-court metrics, a really nice kind of plush nature off the face from the 10mm core cell size. So we're going to dive into all that right now. So without further ado, let's dig straight into it. So the Unmarked paddle comes in at a price of $175. You can take a little chunk off of that and get it for about $157 if you use my discount code STS Pickleball, which helps you and does ultimately help me, but I can promise you there is no bias going into this review or any of my other reviews. I'm definitely here for the long game and not the short game, so I just want to make sure that everything that I express to you is very genuine and transparent in nature. So let's go ahead and dive into some of the metrics and some of the interesting aspects about this paddle. So the Unmarked paddle comes in with a 10mm core cell size. So that means each individual cell in the polypropylene core on this paddle is going to be 10mm in diameter. Average core cell size is going to be about 8mm, and we have some outliers on the smaller cell size spectrum, being the Proton Flamingo, which comes in at a 6mm core cell size. The difference between the feeling off the face with these different core cell sizes is going to be that a 10mm core cell size is going to have a little bit more pocketing, a little bit more dwell time, more of that plush nature off the face, generally speaking. We see that in, the PaddleTech Bantam series, which also has that really nice dwell time and that sort of rebound of amplification of energy effect, which is really nice to feel off the face. It also adds a little bit more power to the face in my experience, but it does lessen the pop a little bit in my experience as well. 8mm core cell size is going to be your average cell size. It's going to be what the majority of paddles are made with. So you can kind of think about just any other paddle that's going to have an 8mm core cell size is going to be something that you've probably experienced in the past as far as the feeling off the face. And then 6mm core cell size, like something we see with the Proton Flamingo, is going to have a little bit more of a rigid nature off the face. It's going to have a little bit more pop off the face, less dwell time, less plushness, but it's also going to have a little bit less control in my experience as well. So with that more rigid nature off the face, I find that dinks and drops can be a little bit harder to control with that 6mm core cell size in comparison to something like this that has a 10mm core cell size, a little bit more plush nature. So I find that on drives and serves with this paddle, I get more miles per hour. I get a little bit more speed, more power on my sort of longer rip shots. But as far as speed ups go, hand battles go, the pop is a little bit less on this than something like the Proton Flamingo or paddles that have a little bit more of a poppy nature in general. This does have a little bit more of a plush nature. So I'd say the power on this is great. Still at the top end of all court. I still wouldn't place this into the power category specifically, but I will say that it's very solid on drives and serves. But that more plush nature really gives you a nice feeling off of your dinks and your drops. So if you're the kind of player that really wants good solid power on your drives and serves, but you want a little bit more of that touch and finesse moving up to the net on drops, resets, mid-court transition, dinks, things of that nature, this is a great paddle for you. It does lack a little bit of aggression at the line. So at the kitchen line, non-volley zone, I do find myself, like when I'm in hand battles, I can't put the ball away quite as well with this paddle in comparison to some other paddles on the market that have a little bit more pop off the face. Because pop is going to be that metric for aggression at the net, whereas power is going to be that metric for aggression on drives and serves. But again, there is the trade-off of the fact that something like this that has more dwell time and a little bit more of a soft, plusher nature off the face, you do get more control off this paddle than something that has more pop. So always a give and take. So the layup on this face is going to be a carbon fiber, fiberglass, carbon fiber sandwich of face sheets on the for the face layup. So you do get that little bit of extra pop from the fiberglass in between those carbon fiber layers. Not enough to really give this really solid pop metrics, but again, you do get more control from the fact that it's more plush. So again, give and takes. So let's go ahead and throw up the metrics on this paddle. So we can see it comes in at a static weight of about 8 ounces, so very average there. It does have a swing weight of about 120, and twist weight came in at 6.5, 6.48, 6.52, so in that general range. And then the balance point came in at 24.4 centimeters. So we'll go ahead and jump into the spin metrics on this paddle, which is one of the things that this paddle does really, really well. So it came in at 2299 RPM. So 1 RPM off of 2300, averaged it all out, and I always have to be honest. I did have a lot of serves that came in over 2300, but the average came in at 2299. So we'll just leave it at that. But it does, with that added dwell time from the 10 millimeter core cell size, along with the rough nature of the face. It's very, very, very gritty, extremely gritty on the face. You get a ton of spin, which is awesome. This is a paddle that I can go to. It's kind of a comfort zone paddle for me. It's a paddle where I can just pick it up, play very, very well with it. I know the spin is going to be there. It's going to help me keep certain drives that might have gone out with some other paddles in the court because of the high spin nature. And then with that more dwelly kind of feeling off the face, you do pocket the balls really, really well on roll volleys and stuff too. So, which is nice. So you kind of get the best of both worlds here, where given the high grit, you get a lot of spin on dinks, drops, things that are a little bit softer in nature. But with that dwell time, you get even more spin on your drives and your serves, which is really cool. So a lot of really good things going for this paddle. Again, the only real drawback here is going to be just the lack of pop for certain people. If you want more pop and more aggression at the non-volley zone, then maybe you would want to look into a paddle that has a little bit more pop. But I think that this paddle has a lot of really good things going for it, and spin is definitely one of them. Any paddle right now that's getting close to or at 2300 RPM of spin is just top percentile. So that is a huge benefit to this paddle. So we'll go ahead and jump into the power metrics on this paddle. So power came in at a 9 out of 10 for me. And as far as the pop, it came in at 8.5 out of 10 for me. So I do all of my power and pop metrics with a radar gun. So I do utilize miles per hour testing with that. And then I just convert it into a metric out of 10 just to make it easier to digest for you. But yeah, 9 out of 10 for power does make a lot of sense. It does have really solid power on drives and serves. And then of course the pop with that added dwell time, that little bit more dwelly kind of plush nature off the face, a little bit less pop, 8.5. Again, really solid top tier all court metrics. And then when we jump into the sweet spot metrics, so the sweet spot on this comes in at a 9 out of 10, which is very high for an elongated paddle. Most elongated paddles these days, or even in the past, usually come in around like 8.4, 8.5, 8.6 in that range. So a 9 for an elongated paddle is very, very good. The sweet spot on this paddle is really solid. I think it's just simply enhanced by that 10 millimeter core cell size. But it did really, really well in the sweet spot category. I didn't notice any hard dead spots anywhere. So again, performance per price here is just incredible. I mean, $157.50 after discount code, I believe. And you're getting, really, in my opinion, the best all-court paddle available right now in 2025. Top tier spin, really solid power, manageable pop, and really good control. Actually, speaking of control, the Unmarked paddle comes in at an 8.9 out of 10 for control, which is really solid, especially for an elongated paddle. And, I do have some paddles in my database that are in the 9.6, 9.7 out of 10 range for control, and they are just control beasts. But this particular paddle, again, it's just like the best all-court paddle you can get because it does so well in any position you are on the court, right? So like if I'm trying to control a shot or finesse a shot or reset a shot, does really, really solid. If I'm trying to rip a drive or rip a serve, I can do that. 2300 RPM of spin, 2299, really solid spin. It does everything really well. This is like the Goldilocks paddle of 2025. Is it ripping power like a Yola Pro 4? No, it's not. Does it have the control of Volair Mach 2 Forza? No, it does not. But it does all of those things exceptionally well. So all in all, the Unmarked paddle is a really great paddle for 2025. Again, if you're looking for something that's very all court, lower on the pop spectrum, something that you can rip drives and serves with, but also control some of your drops, resets, and dinks with, this is a great paddle for you, especially if you're looking for those aspects in an elongated paddle. I think this paddle could do very, very well for you if you're that kind of player. So that's the breakdown on the Unmarked paddle. Hope this was helpful for you. If it was, consider subscribing to always be in the know and to see more videos just like this one. Have a freaking wonderful day, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.